Hey yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the They Call Me Daddy, a Parents podcast. Let me intro-
Okay.
let me
Yes,
introduce the
sir.
co-hosts. We got Mondo and we got Mack. I'm Torrean, aka Daddy. Welcome to the show, y'all.
What's going on, y'all?
Hey man, how y'all feeling today?
Torrean, you smoothed into that intro,
Hey, that
bruh.
was clean, bruh.
You know?
Hey
Yes,
man,
sir.
it's time to turn it up a little bit.
You said you like I've been business pitching all morning. You came in here like, oh, I got this, fam. I'm locked in.
Yeah, I was stuttering
Yeah.
all throughout my presentation this morning, but it's all good though,
Okay, it's all good. You
Sure.
said did you give him the same speech impediment joke or not?
Nah, I'm just that good though, man. That presentation was so fire. So
Okay, that's what's
Yes,
up.
sir.
Business T had to turn it up. You know what I mean?
Oh, business. Oh, so you got a bunch of different alter egos, huh?
Oh,
No,
man.
it's really, you gotta embrace the situation, embrace it all. But everybody knows I'm daddy at the end of the day, so including your ass, bro.
Nah, bruh. You just Torian, man.
Hey, I'm cool with that, man. I'm cool with it. It's in my
That's
name,
cool.
So it's in my name. But how you feeling, Mac? What's up with you, man?
Man, I'm good, man. First snowfall today. Traffic was a little crazy this morning. It was hard getting back to the computer and shit, but all the kids are off to school. Everything good. Today's a special day, right, Mondo?
For sure. Today is like a double special day. One, it's my mom's birthday, Halloween, which is just, Jazz grew up, my brother Jazz, like loving Halloween, and it was just all tied to my mom. And for a long time, we had that, man, let's take a shot, let's kind of mourn and whatever. But now it's more like, yo, let's celebrate. It's good vibe. We passed that trauma, and man, it's just different. And so I celebrate today. Shout out to my mom. Happy birthday. I love you. And also, Cadence gets awarded her 2000th set at the game tonight. And so just the irony of, Cadence's middle name being Tyra, named after my mom, her getting her 2000th set, being recognized on my mom's birthday, and the set that she set to get 2000 was set to this girl named Elsie. And Elsie was the name of our dog growing up when my mom was alive. And so, we talk about like the magic of God or universe or all the things, right? Like you just see that story building, and it's just like, how can that happen that way? And it's just like, yo, if you believe it can happen that way, like everything works out like a happily ever after story. And so, yeah, today is dope, man. Today is dope.
Sure.
Oh, that's
Happy
dope,
birthday.
man.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Auntie. So that's dope.
So with
but
you,
yeah,
T?
man, this snow got me depressed. I ain't even gonna lie, man. It was at our uncle's last night for the Bootacular. So I think it's the third annual Bootacular. Something he did at his house, just a Halloween party for the kids, and leaving there and just all the snow. I'm like, man, what the hell, man? Like, I'm not
Thick
ready
too,
for this.
man. Thick
Man, I am not ready for this shit, bro. So
Did you dress up in your OnlyFans outfit?
I did, man. So I had my I got my mask right here.
Is that the Squid Games, dude?
Yeah, man.
I still gotta finish that joint.
The front man from the Squid Games, dope. One of the dopest shows, man, in my opinion. So, one of the dopest shows. So many life lessons in that motherfucking show. But I had my mask on, had my my WWE Championship belt, letting people know, I am Le Champion, and yeah, it was a good time, man. Good time. It was great to see the kids have such a great time, and shows that like family is super important and leaning into family. And I just, hopefully one day all of our kids can get together and just have a big ass party.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Uncle Gil, man, and the family out there.
For sure.
Yeah, Mac, how was that Halloween party y'all did on Friday?
Man, it was cool. Cadence actually pulled up, came by. It was actually cold, man. It was like the first real cold day. Wind was blowing like crazy, but the kids had a good time. We'll have the video out pretty soon for people to check it out. But it was a good time. I think the kids had fun.
So, like, what was it? Was it like describe the party for everybody?
It was just like a haunted haunted house, haunted park theme. You know, it's kind of hard without Galak being there. You know, shout out to Galak, man, get better, bro. But yeah, just something for the kids in the neighborhood, man. Just give them something to look forward to every year.
Yeah,
That's what's
nah.
up.
Yeah, Rainey had a talent show on Friday, so he couldn't make it. But
How'd that go?
man, that was an epic experience. So it was a talent show K through 5th grade. And man, shout out to all the parents there, because no matter what the kid did, from cartwheels to handstands, dancing, piano, singing, whatever the talent was, man, everybody just kept cheering on the kids. And so there was just so much energy and like so much support to the kids. Like you could just tell the kids were nervous getting on stage, and because of all the cheers, because of the audience, man, their confidence just grew and gave them the courage to go through with the act, man. And so, yeah, shout out to every kid there that got on stage. While at the show, I felt really bad, man. There was this one little girl that, she was going to sing a song and she just did not do it. And I just feel bad for her, because I know she's probably regretting that and regretting that moment, which made me start to think like, man, was there ever a time that y'all ever were supposed to get on stage or perform in some situation and you just did not do it, or you had to come off the cuff, man?
Oh man, that was me all the time, bro. You like, did y'all used to do in elementary? Had a little choir, you had to do a performance for the parents. Man, I was that dude that was never singing. I'm just looking around like, what we get after this?
What
Like
we
straight
get after
up,
this?
yeah, bro. Like where the cakes, where the treats at? But yeah, bro, I was always shy growing up, so I was never one to go out there perform or be that courageous, bro. I was chilling.
Yeah, okay. Torrean is setting me up for this story, right? So I think like, so way back, man, it was in the 5th grade. All right, I'm at Longfellow, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna run for student council. Prep all the stuff, make posters and all that through the school, and it's a big deal." And so, 5th and 6th grade, 5th grade had some spots that they can pick. 6th grade had some spots that they could pick, but like 5th grade, you couldn't run for president. You could be like vice president and some other things. Anyways, I ran for the treasurer, right? And so I remember sitting in class about to take like a math test or spelling test or something, and then somebody come in. I'm like real focused, like writing stuff down, and all of a sudden somebody tapped me on the shoulder, like, "Oh, come on, it's time to go present." And I look like, present what? And they like, you got to say your speech to every grade level about becoming student council treasurer. Bruh, you want to talk about getting booed off of the Apollo? I'm talking about, it's like, walking the Green Mile down to the, auditorium. Like, man, what am I about to say? I'm looking at everybody, got their paper, practicing, they already. And I'm like, I guess I'm about to go off the cuff with it, And bruh, when I tell you, man, it was horrific. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in there was like, man, this brother don't know what he talking about. I mean, I remember one specifically, this class, I was so bad that I like called the class the wrong grade level. It's like going to Minnesota and be like, "Hey, Cali," you know what I'm saying? It was. And so, by the last class, somebody had kind of like helped me draft something to be at least moderately okay. And the next day I had to come back to that grade level that I trashed and like redeliver, because they were like, "Yeah, you were that bad, bruh." But fast forward, 6th grade, I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to duplicate that. Be resilient." That's what we talk about with our kids. 6th grade, I was like, "Oh, I'm about to run again. I'm about to run for president." And your boy won at that point. Like, "Oh, I'm going to be
Yes,
prepped this
sir.
year." And so I was student council president. But similar to Mack is like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just out here want to know what I get after." Like, I won the election, but I didn't care about being in student council, bro. I was like, I just wanted to win, just show y'all.
Straight up.
All the other stuff, man, I'm like, I got this little gavel, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just come to the meetings and be like, bloop, like, let's go. I ain't participating, I didn't do nothing else. But yeah, man, that was I bombed it. And then fast forward now, it's like, yo, Like being an orator, being a speaker, stringing words together is one of my gifts. And so that young lady T that you're talking about, you never know, man. She might grow up to be the governor or the mayor or city council or somebody's coach. You know what I'm saying? Being that voice, like, man, I remember back, and I remember this dude in the back, man. He big dude. I saw him crying because I didn't come on stage. And he'd be talking about you, T. You know what I'm saying? You might have inspired her on accident.
I mean, she didn't know me. She didn't see me. So yeah,
okay.
I'm just saying, it's just
definitely ain't that, but it is definitely experiences that happen early on that shape us for the rest of our lives. And so hopefully she does use this as some inspiration.
Okay, let me ask. So you brought that up, T. Do you? If I just say right now, give me one school moment that shaped you, what comes to mind?
Man, probably throwing chairs at motherfuckers, man.
Oh, you was that kid?
Oh man, I was so bad, man. I was the bully. I was so angry. Like motherfuckers be like, "Hey, Torrean at school," I'll give them the eye, or I don't know, man. I just feel really bad. So I do apologize to any and everybody that I may have negatively had some impact on or affected as kids, because man, that was, I was a lot to deal with, man. I was a lot to deal with, man. Like I remember
he was that kid the teachers always had on the walkie. Up, Torrean Davison again.
Hey, straight up. When I worked in school, I was the dude that had to go get the Torrean, right?
Me too, straight up.
Hey, you walk in and you like, bro, you throwing chairs again, man? And he like, man, my bad.
Yo, I got this ball for you, Torrean. You want to come in and calm down? Straight up.
Oh man.
See, I was gonna leave his ass alone. He was talking about the thick snow. I know this nigga want to go rolling that shit right now, but
see, I'm thinking about a kid in a stress ball. He a fucking puppy, so all he thinking about is chasing the ball. He can't help it, bro. He can't help it.
You know exactly what you meant, nigga. Talking about, here's a ball, nigga.
I mean, I don't know if you worked in a school. You haven't. Me and Mondo have. Like, it's just little things like that. Sometimes you get like a fidget spinner. Sometimes you get a balls. You know. My bad.
Yeah. We got different tools, Steve. My bad.
Yeah, man. I never worked in a school like that.
Puppy thoughts over here.
Nah, nigga, I was gonna leave your ass alone, man. Like, you know, you've been getting sensitive on me, man. I don't need you getting sensitive on me.
Hey, but no, you was really throwing chairs though, bro. Like, why?
Yeah. Man, you know, motherfuckers pissed me off. Just press me to the limits. Like the most epic. I remember 6th grade, and one of my best friends at the time, he said something about our grandpa, and bro, I chased this dude around the entire school, and so like the elementary school I went to was actually connected to our high school, and I chased him all around the entire school, even to the point where I had teachers on my leg, and I'm dragging them. I'm dragging the teachers, trying to destroy them, and it was
angry, man.
Straight up.
I had some bad temper issues back then, man. It was really bad. So yeah.
The number one temper issue I remember is when you pulled a knife out on Lex. You want to tell that story?
Oh, yeah, man, we could tell it. So it was so stupid, too. I mean, now just looking at it, but I can talk about how that actually came back. Hold on, no bullshit. My damn charger done fell out again. Hold on one second.
Hey, here this dude go, man. Every time you try to put him on the spot, man, something done happen.
All right, nah, I'm back. But, man, we used to play basketball at Marion Park, and this was like a long time ago, like 4th grade or something like that. And there was this girl that would come play with us. Her name was Emily. So I told Lex, I was like, yeah, I like her. You know, I kind of like Emily or whatever. So we're at my dad's crib kicking it one night, and he brings it up to tells everybody. And boy, I thought life was fucking over at that moment in time, and grabbed a knife and pull it out on him. Like, nigga, I'm about to cut your ass, bro. Telling my damn secrets. The fuck, nigga?
Wow.
And
bruh.
Who did he tell though?
Me.
He told Mondo, probably told my dad, like he told everybody that was at the house, but it didn't matter. Like, nigga, like I told him this in confidence. And at the time, like, you know, I was one of them kids that if I like the girl, I don't want nobody to know my thoughts or whatever, right? And so man, I was
so Mondo said me.
Right. So you weren't calling yourself daddy at that point, were you?
Man, hell no, man. I wouldn't even. Man, I was so unconfident, man. I was, labeled in my temper issues, but yeah,
Give me
man, it
about the
was.
age where that shifted then. When did you step into your confidence? And was there a specific moment where you're like, oh, yeah, I'm never going back?
Yeah, I will get there, but let me tell you how the story comes full circle. So I
Oh, okay.
put a knife out on Lex. Well, years later, we were at Grandma's house, and Mac, you might remember this, but
Yeah,
Drees pulled a knife out on me, and so
that's
Oh.
his little sister. Yeah,
and Drees' his little sister, and she pulled a knife on me because I must have been picking on her or something like that.
yeah,
And so,
yeah. I remember that.
the big difference was I think I picked up the big butcher knife and she picked up a butter knife. But either way, like, yo, it's just funny how that shit it came full circle.
Dang. So y'all all inspired by Jazz and his Michael Myers case, huh?
Man. Hey man, you should hear some of the Davidson stories that go back further and further and further. Man, it's in our DNA. It's in our DNA for sure. Because man, I guess our grandpa, the big dog, like he wasn't
Play no games.
nothing to joke with. So
that's why you on
but
your way to Switzerland, huh? So
man, I got to be Switzerland out here. Now I'm nice and calm and mellow. Talk to everybody.
until
trying
somebody cross you.
We're not even gonna we're not even gonna wish that out there, man. We're not gonna even
Okay.
put that out there. We're just gonna say, hey, man, you are mellow. So
Oh, you're mellow.
All right.
I'm mellow.
Mellow yellow.
Yeah, but you say what age did that probably change, man? Honestly, it probably didn't change till I was an adult. To be real, like just being confident and
Once you got some of that, right?
yeah, probably. You just get more and more confident, and
Yes,
you
sir.
just start to develop into it. You realize, man, all that shit is just bullshit. Everybody just trying to figure out life in general, man. At that age, like, they don't know no different. Like women don't know no different than men do at that age, and or nor does your friend that thinks they know everything, or that's just more confident and going to talk to people. It's just really is what it's about, man. It's just getting out there and talking. So yeah.
That's what's up. Okay. All right. Which brings us to our topic at hand, right? Going out there and talking and expressing ourselves. So who wants to tee up this video that was sent in a group thread?
Go ahead, Mac.
Ex in the NBA player Joe Smith found out that his girl has an OnlyFans on the low. Didn't know nothing about it, and on top of that, she recorded his reaction to it. How y'all feel about that?
Yeah, so it's his wife. Like, it's not even his girl, it's his wife, and she has an OnlyFans. But yeah, I thought that shit was whack as fuck. Like, first of all, secrets don't belong in a relationship. I feel like having those deep rooted secrets is one way to kind of just say, hey, this shit's over. Like, I'm, because it's a respect thing at the end of the day. Like, it really comes down to respect. If you respect the person you're with, the secret shouldn't be there, right? And so basically she said, hey, Joe, I don't respect Joe ass no mo. Like, she don't respect Joe no mo. So, but then, I think it was whack as fuck too that, while disclosing this information or seeing how upset he was, she put out her phone and recorded it. Like, that's just another way to say, like, hey, yo, I have no respect for your ass anymore. And it's just whack. Like, you're doing this for clicks, you're doing this for publicity. Joe Smith is no stranger to being one of the athletes who made a shit ton of money, I think close to $70 million in his career, and have gone broke, right? And so part of what she was talking about was money issues and saying, hey, I never thought I would have to resort to my past to I had to resort to my past to figure out our financial woes. And I don't know, man. I think she's whack. I think she's insecure for that. And yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah.
So here's how I see it. I'm probably gonna make somebody else mad, right? So what I hear you say is Joe Smith in the league, 70 million. He's one of them cats that's like, Joe Smith is here, meaning at the strip club, right? When somebody with that type of bread walk in,
She was an ex-stripper? Is that what we're getting to here?
I don't
Probably.
know. It's just like
more than likely
to revert back to my old ways, right? Like
right,
showing off myself. So whatever. That's what I intuit. But if I'm wrong, cool. Somebody please correct me. But it sounded like, yo, when we connected initially, like you knew this was part of my history, right? Or that's where you found me, right? And so we grow, we evolve. But if that's part of who we are, how can we say that she's not being her authentic self? Right? She's just like, yo, like when things were tight for me, this is how I got through it. And to then be in a situation where things are tight and this is what she does to get through it, like how can you can be mad at Joe Smith because she didn't express it and tell, like she was hiding it, like that was whack, right? Like don't do that behind my back. But my question then becomes, if she's like, yo, Joe, this is what I'm about to go do, because if I do this, I know I can bring in the bread. Are you saying if Joe says no, that she's not supposed to be able to do that?
If that's his wife, nigga, yeah. What kind of question is that, bro?
So she's saying, this is what I want to go do, right? Like we talked about this in one of our episodes, right? Like there gets to be a point in life where your partner's like, I feel inclined to go do this thing. Do you trust me enough to go do this thing? And you're saying, nah, I don't trust you enough to go do that thing. Why
It's
not?
not trust, bro. It's not really about trust. It's I don't want the person for me showing everybody her ass and her titties, bro. It's like sacred. That's my woman. Like, why would I want another man lusting and masturbating all that wild shit over my woman?
But what if, so let's not say that this is exactly their situation, right? Because I don't know her and him. But what if that is how you found her? You were lusting over her body that same way. So are you saying like, now that I found you and put a ring on it, nobody else can ever lust over you?
Not in that way. Like, okay, so if he found her and she quit, obviously there was some discussions that were made, right? Obviously they had a conversation to make her stop doing it after they got together in marriage, right?
Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe she stepped in and she's like, oh, we got a lot of bread here. Like I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday and literally they were like, yo, I had to give this cat some marriage advice because he got married to this lady and she didn't believe in God. She didn't want to work and some other third thing. Oh, and she didn't actually like to have sex. Right. But they didn't have these conversations and asking those deep questions before they got married. So when they got married, she was like, oh, well, now that I'm married, I ain't giving you none. Because she's just like, I don't even like sex. Right. And so, they didn't have agreements stepping into the marriage. And so I'm thinking about Joe Smith, right? Like, it's possible that maybe they didn't say like, hey, never under no circumstances ever should you ever go back to this. And if they didn't have that conversation, then like she's like, hey, yo, fam, I ain't breaking no rules. Go ahead, T.
I'm gonna let Mac talk, but I'm just gonna say this. Introduce Angry Man.
No, I'm cool, bro. Hey, you can't have the conversation you just had earlier about pulling out knives, throwing chairs and shit, and call somebody else angry man. Because that's a whole bunch of shit I ain't never did.
Straight up. Okay,
but it goes to the conversation we had before. It's just about agreements, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't know the conversations they had, beforehand or not. But by his reaction, I'm assuming that they've had an understanding, and she just decided to go behind his back and do it. That's just what I'm thinking.
So let me ask, like somebody, real quick, T, is somebody who is like a social media whatever, that's how they make their bread, showing off their body, not naked all the way, but it's provocative. Would you not ever date? I know you have partners, so I don't, no disrespect to your partners or whatever, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but is it like, nah, I could never go in that direction because they couldn't continue to do that and be in a relationship with me? Is it being naked or is it being lusted after? That's why I'm like, because OnlyFans might be, she's just being lusted after. She might be doing some feet fetish stuff, who knows, right? And so that's why I'm like, is it the lust or is it actually like seeing something that should only be seen in the bedroom.
You subscribing, Mondo?
No. I don't even go to strip clubs. That's
about
whack.
to-
Facts.
I know you got a feet fetish. That's why I was asking. Like, I know that's your style.
That's what you know, huh? Like, when did you decide to know that?
Hey man, you disclosed that shit to me years and years ago, bro. Like talking about just comments you would make, like, man, you see that girl's toes, and I'm like, nah, bro, like that shit's weird to me.
Oh, no,
I ain't got no foot fetish, but hey, I do require some pretty feet though, bro.
That's
like,
what I was about to say. So it's similar to thumbs, right? Like, hey, do you go check her thumbs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta go check her feet, you know.
But no, I think it's to each his own though. Like shit, my girl showing her feet, bringing home some chick. Hey, I'm good, bro. You know, it depends. But do I want her shaking her ass and doing all that? Nah.
Okay, so in this scenario with Joe Smith, if her OnlyFans was a feet OnlyFans, does it change the scenario? Does it change your response?
Me? Yes. For him, I don't know. Maybe them his toes. You know what I mean? I don't know. Everybody different, bro.
Yeah, okay, what about you, T? What about you? Because you're like, oh, this is not happening. But if it was a feet OnlyFans.
No, I didn't say it wasn't happening. So.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, so you okay?
No, I didn't say it wasn't happening. I think the problem is she didn't fucking disclose anything to him. You know what I'm saying? She didn't tell him anything. You know, I got a friend who he met a girl, and like, you know, she was an Instagram model and, you know, doing her thing or whatever. And upon him getting together, it was agreed that, you know, she stopped doing those things. And in that situation, like one time she told me, she was like, yeah, I was doing all this stuff before I met him, and then he doesn't want me doing that anymore, but it's a really good way to make some money, you know, but she just didn't do it anymore out of respect for him, right? But like it, you know, I don't think any woman should be judged for getting bread that way at all. Like, if you can make money that way, it does not define you. That's just a way of saying, hey, you know, I want to use what I got to make some money. So I'm cool with that. I think the problem with me is just, like when you mentioned you reverted back to old ways because that's what you're used to and that's your authentic self. My big thing is so you're telling me you had no growth since you met me, right? Like you have not grown as a person. Like you're still feeling like it's survival of the fittest. Like all the money that we had and we no longer have, it's not like I just spent that shit myself. And like I don't know their financial situation, but that's my biggest issue is like you didn't even have respect enough for your husband to go and just talk to him and say, hey, I have an opportunity to make some serious money doing OnlyFans. Let me go do me, or I want to go back to doing this to help support our family. Because that's something he said in the video. He was like, yo,
I want to find out on the fly from somebody else.
Yeah, I don't want to find out from the streets. Like, who the fuck wants to find out from the streets that your girl's out there doing something? That shit's fucked up. Like, that's just
not the streets, but it's probably his brother, his cousin. Like, man,
yeah, everybody.
So it hit a little different, especially now how social and technology is now, bro. Like, everybody's seeing it.
But okay, this is a story. Hold on, this is a story that I want to get out real quick because I don't know if y'all two know this or not, but this is a little Torrean. We divulging secrets, so I'm gonna put it out there. But so one of my friends, she was making money.
This dude said, "I'm about to tell somebody else's secrets."
Nah, nigga, let me.
I know.
Nigga, let me talk, bruh. Damn. Anyway, I got a friend. She was out there. I am telling her secret, though, I guess. I didn't realize that. But anyway, I'm not saying her name, but she would sell her panties for money and make money off her panties, right? So then she was telling me,
panties?
Yeah. She'd wear them and then put them in a bag and send it to somebody off eBay. So she put me on game, though, because she's like, yeah, people...
Hold on, clarify. She put you on game as a customer, or she just told you?
No, not as a customer. Man, I'm like, okay. The entrepreneur came out of me in that moment, bro. So I'm like, hold on. So then she was like, yeah, people make money selling socks and used socks and go on. She's like, go on eBay. So I go on eBay and see there's all these people wanting to buy socks, nigga. So I'm like, hold on, bro. So I wore some socks.
Man, I'm over this.
No. All right, so I wore some socks, right? And I wore some socks, posted on my eBay the picture of the socks and said, yo, men size 13, used socks, walked. And at this point in time, I was tracking my miles and shit. So like walked like 2.5 miles or whatever. And I put a pair of socks on there for $20, right? Well, nigga, I had a buyer. He sent me a message like, hey, can you wear these socks for 3 more days? I'm like, hell yeah. I can wear these socks for 3 more days. I don't give a fuck. So, man, I wore them motherfuckers for 3 more days. He paid the money for them. And then eBay was like, oh, this is against our terms and conditions. And so the sale didn't go through. I was pissed like a motherfucker. I was gonna make $20 off a pair of socks, bro. Like that's
Nigga
a hustle.
prostitute, $20.
Bro, what am I prostitute? The nigga just gonna smell my feet. I don't give a fuck. Like he can do whatever he want with them socks, bro.
I mean,
I don't
me
give a fuck.
personally, I couldn't wear the same socks for 3 days, bro. I wouldn't. That would be the most uncomfortable
Especially after walking in them joints.
Nigga, I'm at work, man. My work shoes. You know what I'm saying? I go home to shower and shit. Clean my damn.
Here's
Hey,
the
you know
funniest
my
thing. Hey, I tell you gotta put this picture. You gotta take a picture because if you ever have a sleepover with Torrean, he sleeps with his socks.
Yeah, I do not. I don't like. No, I only do that.
So I've been envisioning this eBay picture with this dude's socks. Oh man, bruh.
That shit is funny.
Oh,
if you know Torrean, you know exactly what he talking about.
well, yeah.
Put the fan on them shits.
Yeah, so I can't sleep with my feet are hot. If my feet are hot, I can't sleep. So yeah, I gotta
for
sleep
the listeners. You mind if I tell T? It's like he rolls his socks up so only his toes are covered.
It's like my feet are hot, but I need to put these gloves on my toes though.
Oh my God.
Bruh.
So that only happens during sleepovers. I don't want my socks to lose my socks. So that's why I only do it that way. Otherwise, take them motherfuckers off at the crib. I don't like wearing socks at all, man. So
all right.
But anyway,
this eBay story, man.
This nigga's full of secrets, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm telling you.
This nigga my whole life, and I ain't never heard nothing about this.
Hey, that's why he got these 78-year-old friends, bro. He met them on eBay. You know what I'm saying? Selling the socks.
Nah, shout out to my friends. I can't even disrespect them like that, bro.
Oh, that's not how you met. Okay, wasn't an eBay connect. Oh, bro, that's funny.
Genuineness, but
that's funny.
But yeah, man, so that's my whole thing, Mondo. Joe Smith's wife got to grow as a person, and she ain't grew. I don't know if they got kids together. I don't even know how long they've been married. They might only been married a year, so maybe that changes.
But then,
things up a little bit. I don't know.
Trust issues come along with that eventually, then, right? Because she didn't tell him because she didn't talk to him, and then he's like, "Oh, what else are you hiding? Who you doing this for?" You know what I mean?
Straight up.
So did y'all ever have a secret in a relationship that you were keeping and it really tore it apart?
The relationship?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure, man. I think we all do, right? Like, I think part of this lived experience, right, is having those secrets and then eventually having to come full circle and say them out loud. Or not, right? But eventually it smacks you in the face. Like, oh, if you ain't going to tell me, then guess what? The sister is going to come pull a knife out on you, right? Like, it always comes out. I mean, think of Jay and Beyonce in the elevator, right? Like, eventually, just at that wrong time, it just always reveals itself. So when I made an agreement that the secret is always going to come out, like it's inevitable, bro, I went on a tour, on a Mondo tour. Like, yo, let me clear up anything that I feel like is on my spirit that needs to be cleared up, because I just wanted to remove all that toxic vibe, energy, whatever. Like, I didn't want nothing to creep up on me. And so, man, I think we all have that, bro.
No,
yeah, anything that comes to mind for you, Mac?
No, I think that's part of now after maturing. That's why me and Mercedes, why we are where we're at now. It's like, if she's going to accept me and dedicate her life and whatever to me, then I got to be completely honest. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be no fraud out here, continue to hurt feelings. And, so now, like before when I was younger, of course, like I didn't know what being a good companion was. But as I grew, it's like, all right, you got to stop lying and shit, because otherwise the shit does, like Mondo said, comes back full circle and fucks everything up. So for sure. See?
Yeah, we talk about stories that kind of help shape us, right? And so I'm gonna share this story. So Uncle Ed, Mondo's dad, he was always speaking like, just be honest, be honest, be honest, and be honest with me. I'm not gonna tell you something. And we tell that I tell that to Rainey all the time, like, yo, just be honest. Be honest with me. I'm not. It's gonna be a lot less severe than if you're not, right? And so Uncle Ed used to always say that, but we were teenagers at the time, and I didn't quite get the message quite yet. And so me and Jazz, Mondo's brother, we were wrestling, and I had DDT Jazz on the bed in Mondo's room, and Jazz's foot hit and cracked Mondo's bed frame, basically. And we were coming up with stuff, and I'm like, yeah, Mondo, just tell your dad this happened. And all the, trying to scheme and tell Mondo, tell your dad this happened, this happened, this happened. And so Mondo said, okay, I got you. Okay, I got you. Well, then this nigga Mondo threw me under the motherfucking bus and told his dad the truth, which was the right thing, right? But he didn't tell us he was telling his dad the truth. So Uncle Ed comes and asks me, like, T,
Mondo, like, come here, dad.
yeah, like this nigga Snitch McGriff over here, like, yo, you couldn't have gave somebody a motherfucking warning that you was gonna tell your dad the truth in this situation. And so, Uncle Ed asked me about it, and I went with the lie. I was like, oh yeah, like, I accidentally tripped and landed on it or something like that and broke it. And he's like, T, Mondo told me what really happened. You and Jazz were wrestling. And man, you probably could have seen, I probably turned white in that motherfucking moment, but that was, we talk about moments that shaped us. It was like, man, that was a moment where I was like, well, what am I lying for? Like, my Uncle Ed, he's not going to get, we're at Uncle Ed's house all the time. Like, he knows kids are going to be kids, shit's going to happen. And so, like, that really taught me, like, just try to be as honest as possible. And so I try to, grow into that. And like, now I feel like I'm that all the way, even when it comes to from dealing with clients at work to dealing with my own relationship or whatever it is. I just try to be as honest as possible, because like, what's the point of lying? Like, lying hurts. Lying, if you lie, the truth can hurt too, right? But there's ways to tell the truth and be respectful in telling the truth, or just saying, hey, this is how I feel in this moment, and X, Y, and Z, and y'all can work it out from there. But holding shit in has always been bad for me. We talked about the anger issues earlier. A lot of that came from holding shit in, and then just lying. What's the point? Because you're probably gonna get caught anyway. So,
And then
Yeah.
when we're young, we was running around calling ourselves real niggas and all that. It's like, you ain't being real if you ain't even being honest, right? To the littlest things. Like, you got to face the consequences at some point. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Excuse me. You bring up my dad, T. It was either the end of sophomore year or beginning of junior year, right? This is me and my BM. We was in that young love phase or whatever. And around that time, it was like, all right, like we doing the do, right? And so, when you a rabbit at that age, you just, wherever you can go, And I remember it got to the point to where I had to straight up ask my dad, like, hey, yo, Pops, like, can I just go get a hotel room? Like, if I could make it happen, if I can somehow figure out an adult to get me a room, are you cool? And he just said, don't have no babies. Right? He told me that about 8 million times in my life. But I share that because it was one of those moments where I was just like, man, I could say I'm about to go to the homie's house, then bike to the hotel, then be there, and then be nervous because somebody called, and I'm like, dang, I got to get back, all this stuff, right? Like, when you tell a lie, that bad boy build and build and build. And so I was like, man, I ain't even gonna play that game. And in that moment where I asked my pops, like, just being 100% transparent, and he's just like, yo, you got to make your own decisions. That definitely shaped my life moving forward. And I was just more confident to just say the truth to other folks. It took me a long time to master it, right? But that high school moment definitely helped guide me to just say the shit, you know? And so, yeah, that was transformative for me. And now with Cadence, right? Rather it's me talking to her, Jazz talking to her, my dad talking to her, all three of us, like we tell a similar story. Like life is going to be a lot easier if you just tell the truth because, yeah, the person's going to be mad. They might be hurt. They might leave, but they always come back full circle if you're 100 because everybody else around that full circle is probably lying. And it's just like, oh man, you lied, you distrust me, you. And then it's like, man, well, that cat Mondo, he actually told me the truth up front. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man, telling the truth is key. Be impeccable with your words for agreements.
Boy, oh boy. My boys be lying like a motherfucker, but you know, me and they might be talking to it. Them boys still be lying. It's just the fear of the consequences. It's like, bro, if you gonna do it, you got to be able to face that.
Yeah.
And Rainy be lying about stupid shit, and it's like, it'd be so a lot of stupid shit. But even to the point, like, oh, did you have fun in this? No. And I'm like, I think shit just kind of joking in that moment, but it's really important for me to try to like say, like, okay, that's a joke, but there's a difference between a joke and a lie, right? Like, so even last night I was like, oh, did you have fun at the Bootaculator? No. And then, you know, she has the famous Torrean grin when, like, you know how y'all be calling me out when, oh, you could tell this nigga lying or whatever because I'll be smiling smiling like this, like she be busting on that like right after and be smiling, and I'm like, oh, I could always tell when you're telling the truth because it's like looking in the fucking mirror at this point in time, you know, like it's like looking
straight up.
It's like looking straight at me, but yeah, man, what about a time where y'all told the truth and it hurt? You know, can you think about that?
Oh yeah, being in a relationship, bro, you tell the truth, and then, you know, seeing them tears fall for somebody that you care about, and you know that you did it not because of a flaw that they have, but it's the insecurity that you have in yourself. Like, I guess it's a tough pill to swallow, bro. It's like, because, you know, when you cheat on somebody, their first thing is like, well, what am I doing? It's like, you really ain't do nothing, nigga. I just need to mature and grow the fuck up, really. You know what I mean? And they get hurt, and then you got to go fix that. You know what I mean? So that was my biggest thing.
I'll say the thing that comes to mind, so for those who know me, like I've read The Alchemist so many times, right? Like I consider that the perfect hero's journey for me. And so there's this season in The Alchemist where this dude ends up in the desert, lands at the Oasis. The Oasis for people is just a place in the middle of the desert that has water or whatever, the city in the desert. And when he's in the desert, he meets this gal named Fatima. And he's like, man, I've never seen somebody so beautiful and just all the stuff. I'm in love at first sight, you know, all the things that a happily ever after story offers. And I tell that story because it's like, oh man, something about that union, something about that connection just naturally feels good. And so he was like, I'm about to stay here and do all the stuff, right? And get married and not continue on to get my treasure that I sought out to get. And so I was in a relationship a while back, and like I felt a similar vibe, like, oh, like this is Fatima, right? Like this is that, it's just good vibe, good energy, fun, all the good stuff. And I was like, oh man, like I could stay in this. It was the same thought process, like, Mondo, oh, actually, would you ever just chill and be married and all the stuff? And just looking in that direction. However, like in every other relationship that I've ever had, you know, me, Mondo, open relationship, go do what Mondo wants to do, right? Just tell the truth. And in this season, I was just like, man, I actually want to be faithful, right? I actually want to stop and chill, but I couldn't, right? It was that one time where like, I could not do it. It's like wanting to, like, man, like I want to pick up this weight and do this bench press, but I just can't. But every other time in my life, like I can always get that thing. I can always get those plates up. But in this season, I could not. And so I share that because I was like, man, I need to leave this relationship before I mess it up, right? Like I didn't even want to cause the harm of lying and like blowing it up because I was just like, man, like I want to be a better person, but I just can't. I have to go, as Mack was saying, right? Like I have to go find a better version of myself. And so for me, like that was such a transformative moment because I was like, I left the Fatima type perfect relationship to go find a better version of me instead of going through the cycle of, okay, Mondo, you just broke another heart, right? As I always do, right? Because if we don't heal those old traumas, we just break another heart and another heart and another heart. And so it really comes down to, right, as Torrean was saying, growing from that old person, right? Like Torrean's like, yo, I used to be angry, man. Now I'm trying to be Switzerland. Mondo used to be, yo, whoever's pulling up is pulling up if you're the baddest, right? I ain't the cat that I'm pulling a two. But if you're the baddest and you in the room, I'm like, oh, well, I want the baddest. And I had to find a way to release the desire to have the baddest. But that it's hard, bro. Like super hard.
For sure.
Yeah, I think another angle behind the truth too is like holding the truth back to not hurt feelings, right? Or to like I need to tell somebody the truth, but I don't know what the consequence. I don't know how they're gonna feel about me telling them the truth. And I think that is something that too takes a lot of courage because like to say you're gonna be real and you're gonna have and always be honest and try to live this lifestyle, it's not easy. Like it really isn't easy. You can cut corners and lie, but you know, okay, what if I do tell this person the truth? Am I going to hurt their feelings? Are they never going to talk to me again? You know, what's the consequences of that conversation? That is something that, man, is another angle of the truth. And y'all got any advice for any situation for that or anything like that?
So when I think about my experience, right, I'm like, everybody is a creative player. Right, just like, all right, you're going through this life and you're building up your own creative player, your own avatar, right? And so you make choices, and based on those choices, you're like, oh, I got a honesty coin. Oh, I got a resilience coin. Oh, I got a whatever. And some people got a whole bunch of lie coins, right? Or deceit coins. But one of the coins that I feel like is extremely hard to get is the forgiveness coin. And so when we do something that is going to hurt somebody else's feelings, at this point, I'm like, me telling this thing to this person is for me to get my honesty coin, right? And probably some empathy coins. But that person needs to work on their ability to forgive. And so I'm like, if I don't go be transparent and honest with that person, I don't allow that person to work on their ability to forgive, even if that means they can't be with me anymore, right? Even if that means they got to go move around. But yo, it's hard to forgive others. And it's even harder to forgive others who we love deeply. But it's like to get to that point where you love somebody deep and then they tell you, man, I did something that you are not going to appreciate. And then to forgive that person, like that's a strength that is hard to acquire.
So do you take forgiveness for granted?
I don't think that it's for me, right? Like somebody else forgiving me is for them. Like, cool. Like if they forgive me and we continue to share space together and have a relationship or a friendship, like that's just the icing on the cake. But that person having to forgive something is for them. And then once they forgive me, right, it might be like, man, I really love Mondo. I'm going to forgive him because I think that he's being genuine. And because they forgave me, we get stronger. Or, man, I really love Mondo. He told me this thing is genuine. Because I forgave him and left him, when she does that, or when a person does that, their real knight in shining armor is just there the next day. Because they forgave. If they like held that resentment and mad and didn't want to forgive, then they're just going to go through the same cycle. Somebody else is going to do it and somebody else is going to do it until, right, you master the art of forgiveness. And so I don't take it for granted. I just know that it is required because I had to learn how to forgive, right? You know, me, Mondo, Mr. Cutoff, OG senior, right? Like you do something to me, I'm like, I don't never have to talk to you again. But now I'm like, man, I got to be forgiving, right? It's just all part of the story. We all are mirrors for each other. We're all going to eventually do something that the other person doesn't like. Are we willing to forgive when that person comes back in a genuine fashion? Or is our ego in the way and we're like, man, get out my face. I think it's our choice. But if that other person is genuine and we choose to hold that resentment, well, that person is a butterfly. They're gonna go off and all the things that they need and are gonna happen for them. We're gonna be stuck in that cement because we're holding on to something that somebody did to me 3 years ago. That's my belief.
Yeah, nah, I'm with the dream.
With the
Fuck
dream.
them niggas.
So T, forgiveness is not a strength you're interested in flexing.
I mean, I think that. So the reason I asked you that question is because I think that it came across a little bit as like, no matter what somebody messes up, you just need to forgive them. Like that is taken for granted, and it's like, for me and who I am right now, I took the approach that you did, man. I got to release this anger for me, right? Like I had to do that for me. But at the same time, like some people just like, doesn't mean I need to call them and say, hey, you are forgiven. Or if I see them, I still need to speak to them. Like, nah, you could minimize the power or like the energy, the negative energy you're feeling towards that person by just saying, man, you know what? Fuck them. I'm just going to move on and keep it like that. I don't mean you got to actually forgive them, but it just means like, fuck them. I'm going to move on. Like you don't have no, I'm not even giving you no energy at all. So,
okay, so that's fair, right? But what if you then forgiving them is the thing that they need? What if somebody stabbed Torrean in the back a long time ago and it's the thing that's just on them, bruh? They like, man, like he cared for me, he loved me, he did all these things and I messed that up. And then one day out the blue, you call and you're just like, yo, this was on my spirit. You know what? It ain't even a big deal. I forgive you. And how that helps them heal, right? Torrean is already through it and you don't care. You're like, it's whatever. I minimized it. But to call and tell them that, you might be the key that they've been needing for the last decade. So why wouldn't you be that key?
What if you call and them motherfuckers ain't sorry? You like, hey man, you had me fucked up back then. They like, nigga, like.
And then if you're like, well, nigga, see me outside, then you really ain't over it.
Nah, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, the person who did the backstabbing should be the one reaching out. You can't reach out to somebody who backstabbed you like, hey man, you really hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? That shit kind of awkward.
That's a good ass point because everybody got a different perspective of what happened. So like you might feel like somebody backstabbed you or whatever, and they might be like, oh, I didn't do that. Like, so.
But you won't know that unless you call and try to resolve it and be like, oh man, I forgive you. And they're like, oh bro, it didn't even happen that way. And you're like, oh, cool. Now we're back besties again. But until one of the parties open up and say the thing, like the clarity doesn't happen. Nah.
I mean, your mission is to be the Dalai Lama, bro. Like that ain't mine, bro.
Oh man, that's
that
fair.
ain't mine. I mean, if somebody hit me up and apologized or whatever the case may be, or reached out and they found let's say use the word courage again, they found that courage to reach out and whatever. I mean, as I told y'all, I'm Switzerland, man. I have active ears. I'm willing to listen to whatever. And, everybody from the past that has maybe come and gone or whatever in my life, it's no energy, man. Like I'm only just looking forward. I'm not even, I'm not letting nobody have any weight over me anymore. So, but if y'all want to, if you feel like we got some unsettled business and you got to get something off your chest, feel free to hit me up. I'm not going to cuss you out. Like, I'm not going to revert back to old Torrean ways. I am a new man. You know what I'm saying? I am daddy.
Okay. I'm with you. I want to say one thing because you talked about the Dalai Lama, right? And like, I got a calendar and every day when you change the thing, it's a new Dalai Lama quote. So like, Dalai Lama is dope to me. However, I'm on some, what about our imagination is actually possible? You know what I'm saying? Like some people have extreme gifts. I think the people that have extreme gifts are the people who follow their heart, who go all in over and over and over and over. And the thing that they imagined, that they dreamed about, they get a version of that. And like I always wanted to be Superman, the dopest hero in the story. And cool, being able to fly and all that stuff, whatever. But I started watching Star Wars, and I'm just like, oh, this Jedi Force thing, like, I feel like that could be a reality, right? Being one with all things could be a reality. Mondo, use your imagination. How do you get there? And to me, it's doing the things that are so simple that nobody else are doing, right? Which is like any type of energy that is adjacent to you that you know is negative or that you know isn't like vibrating on the right frequency, like go attempt to resolve that. And if you just do that with everybody in your life, do you get the gift of the Jedi Force? Maybe, maybe not. But if it's maybe, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go try it, right? Because then it's just like, if I am right, and then I do have this gift that is available to everybody on the planet, and all I have to do is say, oh man, just be kind, just be friends, just go love everybody, and you're gonna have this extra Jedi Force gift. And then everybody's like, well, nigga, fuck them. Like, all I can do is express and say the thing out loud, like, well, that's cool, you have that choice, but you could have the Force. And so I'm just reaching for the Force, bro. Like, literally, like, Mondo, why do you do what you do? Because I'm reaching for the Force, this thing that has to be present in this universe. Because my imagination just never died.
Man, that's dope, bro. That's dope. I ain't got no follow
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with
I
you,
just
bro.
had to say it out loud because somebody listening is probably like, all right, cool. I'm with Torrean. Like, I'm putting hands on somebody. Somebody's like Mack, like, I'm in the middle. I see, depending on the situation. And somebody's like, all right, Mondo, my gift is being likable. So let me lean in to be the most likable. And
Hey, man, like, you know, I'm not putting hands on nobody no more. I am Switzerland. You know what I'm saying? So we got Switzerland vibe.
okay.
But anyway, we can move forward.
Hold on, real quick. So you turn the other cheek, Martin Luther King?
I mean, I believe in it all. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody put hands on T. You ain't fighting? Is that what I just heard?
Hell no, you didn't hear that shit.
Okay, I was just curious. You know, you said Switzerland, you ain't putting hands on nobody. I'm like, oh, okay, you ain't fighting.
He's not seeking is what he means.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But you got to protect yourself at all times, though, right?
Hey, straight up.
Okay.
But yeah, man, who wants to wrap it up, man? This is a great conversation today. Who wants to wrap it up?
So, T?
Nah, let's give it to Mondo, man. You know, let's give it to the Jedi Force. You know, let him wrap it up.
Okay. All right. If you put me on the spot right now, man, I'm on some humanitarian stuff at this season in my life. Like, as a young lad, we talk about old stuff. It was like I wanted to be in the league, and I wanted to be in the league to take care of my family. You know, it's all about money. It's all about fame and fortune. And then the next season of my life, I went to Florida A&M, HBCU, and I was just like, oh man, this Black Power thing is it, right? Like, let's build community. Let's do all this stuff to like uplift Black and brown folks. And I did that for over a decade. And then now I'm on some like, but is there more? And it's human. For me, it's just all about speaking life into human and finding that thread, finding that force that allows all humans to see each other. Right? The thing that I say over and over and over is like each of us, each avatar, like every moment that we have is a new stroke, right? Like a new painting. And it's like, all right, everybody's a different painting. Everybody is able to create their own art. However, we all have a frame. Right? Every single person has a frame, and that frame is human. And so, create the art that you want for yourself. Be your own Basquiat. But man, like, can we start with, but everybody's in the human frame. And if we look at everybody else and be like, it's all the same frame, we probably approach each other differently. So just love, just love.
Dope. So thank you for joining us for another episode of the They Call Me Daddy, a parents podcast. For Mack P, the Dalai Lama, I am Torrean. We out.
They call me daddy.